Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Ray. Welcome to the Alchemy of Stress. Welcome to new subscribers. Thank you for being here. I hope you're enjoying the content so far and that it's helping you understand your experience of stress in a way that will help you heal, transform, alchemize, that's the word I like to use, alchemize your stress. Today I'm going to talk about another energy center and how awareness of how we hold stress in the body and how the body is communicating stress will help us transform, alchemize the stress that we've been holding without awareness. I'm presuming that most people watching these posts are adults, okay? And if you're experiencing stress or the symptoms of stress as an adult, it's likely that you've been experiencing stress for most of your life. And in some way we've normalized that stress, because if we start to experience at a very early age, it becomes our normal. And it's only with awareness later on in life that we can start to shift out of these patterns and let go of normalizing what it is we experience, okay? And my own personal story of stress is that I was stressed for most of my life, well into my mid-40s. And I was experiencing so many health issues, from allergies to digestive problems, autoimmune, asthma, chronic fatigue. The list is long, and it was really challenging because I had 2 young children and I could barely make it through the day. It took all my strength to get up in the morning and to do the bare minimum to get myself and my 2 young children through the day. And at times I felt so desperate, so desperate. And luckily, and I say luckily now, there was no magic pill. And the doctors I spoke to didn't seem to know or understand how to help me, or didn't even really think there was anything wrong with me, which was also very frustrating and distressing when you really need support and you're not finding it. And this was actually what led me to understanding what was going on, and that everything that I was experiencing, the physical symptoms, were traced back to stress. And it's a stress that I'd been living for a lifetime, or at least up until that point. And through engaging with my body and to really tune in, I started to understand how everything is connected. Okay, the emotions, our thoughts, our mental chatter, and how that expresses in a physical way in the body. And all of that stress creates an imbalance. And we talk about, balancing the nervous system and calming the nervous system. But there's so much more to it. And when you have that awareness and that understanding, it empowers you to support your body and doing what it does best, and that's to heal and to come back into balance. Okay? And I'm sitting here today feeling fantastic, no more symptoms, and I didn't need to take any medication or have any kind of intervention. As I learnt to support myself and my body did the rest, and little by little came back into balance naturally. The energy center I'm going to look at today is, there are 2 energy centers involved in this symptom. It's rather the symptom I'm going to look at, which is constipation. Somebody asked about that, and this is a digestive issue, and the energy centers are the root chakra, the first one, so it's the base of the spine, and the second chakra, which is the lower belly. But it's also related to other chakras, okay? And we talked about the throat chakra yesterday. The throat chakra being how we express what we feel, perhaps what we don't express, what we hold in. And in a way, constipation is about what we hold in. That there's a fear somehow of letting go, of not feeling safe in the body, but also that can be connected to what we don't feel safe expressing. through our stress experience throughout our lives, often it's not feeling safe in some way. And paradoxically, when we're feeling stressed, the body isn't a very comfortable place to be. So we don't naturally feel comfortable or safe in the body. And what we're doing as we engage with the body and understand what it's trying to communicate in symptoms and what we're feeling in the subtle sensations and not so subtle sometimes, is we're understanding patterns in a stress state has created certain reactive patterns in the body. So at the root of constipation is a not feeling safe in the body, in life, in who you are, and a holding in, a needing to hold tight. And that is a stress reaction in itself. Stress is a contraction and not feeling safe. And if we don't feel safe in any way, whether it's the chronic stress that we might feel on a day-to-day, so that low-level anxiety of not being able to relax, of being on high alert, the stress that we can feel in overwhelm, which creates that sort of intense discomfort in the body and emotionally, mentally, you'll observe that there's a contraction. There's a contraction in the muscles, but also a tightening, a protective or a need to protect in some way. And that might be in withdrawing, of holding back, of making yourself smaller, or it could be a reactive sort of needing to retaliate or to snap. Again, the pattern is very personal, and it's just giving you an awareness of how this builds up and then becomes a symptom, a stress symptom in the body. With constipation, as well as not feeling safe in the body, in yourself, in life, there also tends to be a lot of mental activity, the mind on overdrive. And again, in digestive issues, not feeling safe is translated into needing to have everything under control. You've got that mental checklist, or you've got that mind on the future, what's coming up, what do I need to be aware of, and there's that high alert, or there's that need to chew things over, whether it's been a conflict or there's an issue that you haven't yet resolved, and until you resolve that issue you can't really relax. So there are many things that create a lot of mental activity, but that mental activity is something that the body is going to feel, Anything that we're experiencing in the mind is translated through the nervous system into something that we feel in the body, at least if there's an emotional charge or there's that intense energy, stress energy, okay? And that tends to affect our nervous system. It pulls the nervous system off balance, and that in turn affects the other systems of the body, so the digestive system. And I'm sure you've all heard that the gut is the emotional brain of the body. So there's a very real connection between what's happening up here and what's happening in the gut. And if we're feeling blocked and really locked into our mind and worry and anxiety, then this is going to affect what's happening down in our gut and our digestive system. In that worry mode and trying to work things out and micromanaging and not feeling safe, essentially, is mirrored in other systems of the body and other areas of the body. And it's essentially not feeling safe to let go. And constipation, in the same way, is that holding on, of not letting go in a physical sense, and everything's blocked. And so how do we, that's the awareness, and it's very powerful already, at least, let me know if that resonates. And how do we address that? Okay, so we can help support the body, and in that way we're supporting ourselves by bringing the nervous system back into balance. And we do that through regular mindfulness and relaxation. But it's also understanding what is it that's creating the worry, the need to hold on, of not feeling safe, okay? And there are all sorts of things. And again, each person is going to have a very unique story of stress, okay? And understanding what it is that has created this need to control, to hold on, to not feel safe, to trust the flow of life, to allow life to unfold and to be present, in the moment. And now, why there might not be any obvious danger in our day-to-day, there are very subtle mechanisms that can make us feel unsafe. It could be that fear of judgment, or fear of not being enough, of needing to people please, a fear of conflict, a fear of not having enough, not feeling secure, whether it's financially or in a relationship. And again, it can be quite subtle. But this isn't about analysis. The awareness is powerful. The shift comes when we engage consciously with what we're experiencing, what we're feeling in the body. And the bigger shift comes when we stop thinking or feeling there's something wrong with me, there's something wrong with my body. And instead we start to consciously engage with the body, which is trying to communicate, look here, there's some way in which you can support yourself, engage with what you're experiencing, and to start to give yourself the care and the attention that you deserve. Or coming back to self-worth, to support and to love yourself in a way that is going to be healing for your body, not just your body, but for you as well, okay? So there's already an awareness of when you're triggered, or when you're feeling overwhelmed, whether it's the mental overwhelm or an anxiety, it's tuning into the body and observing, where am I feeling this? So, for example, if we're looking at a symptom like constipation, you immediately think, well, that must be in the gut. But you may observe that the anxiety you feel is in the solar plexus, or it's in the throat. And it might be that it's something that you're not expressing that is causing you to hold on. There might be a worry, I'm worried about this, and we hold our worry in. Okay, it's a holding in of an experience, of a feeling, an emotion, and how we don't express necessarily what it is we're experiencing in here in our inner world. All right? So start with that awareness. Observe what you're feeling in the body and where, when you're feeling that stress in whatever way, anxiety, worry, anger, the things that overwhelm you in the moment when you feel triggered. And then the way that we heal this is by consistently showing up and engaging with what we're feeling. And again, this is what I share in my audio course, The Alchemy of Stress. So if this resonates, I invite you to look at that. I invite you to check that out. The link's in the description box. And it's very affordable, okay? It's just $9.99 a month. And as soon as you've finished, you can unsubscribe. And for anybody in the app who's following the course, I offer a weekly live session, so you get some one-to-one feedback, and that's included in the course price. Okay, so I really invite you to have a look at that if you're interested and you want to heal stress for good, to alchemize your stress. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Please feel free to share your experience, ask me questions, and I will help in whatever way I can. Okay, so thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next post.